right.
Welcome.
We bike.
Episode 4.
Hey.
We've done 4.
Consistency.
We said if we could make it to 5, we are doing something.
I mean, might be video time.
We're trying. I'm still a little too scared. But we're going to have to because, guys, we've got some people lined up to come on and talk to us. And who are they? Well, they are none other than some amazing people who are like, we are the next generation that are going to be running for office. Mm-hmm. They're going to be primarying the traitors out. Mm-hmm. And they are grassroots. They are not Nepo political babies. They are not drowning in money for campaigns. These are people starting from the bottom, trying to work their way to the top.
Yeah.
With not a lot of help financially. So we want to interview them. We want to see what they're running for, you know, how they're feeling about it, any and everything. And if they are somebody, you know, in your district or somebody that would be on your ballot and you want to vote for them and you want to help fund their campaigns and get their names out there, that is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to platform the next group that's coming in and getting the traitors out so that this doesn't happen again.
Yep.
So we're going to have to figure out the video because we want to do this on video.
Yep.
But stay on the lookout for that because Devin and I are probably this week going to start figuring out interview times, which is exciting.
Yep. We're talking to some people. We're doing some things.
We are. All right. But we have a busy week. So we have a lot to cover. So we're going to dive just right into it, Devin.
Yeah, J.D. Vance killed the fucking Pope, y'all. If you haven't noticed yet, it's his fault because initially J.D. Vance, he wanted to have a meeting with the Pope. The Pope said, bro, I'm dying. I don't have the time for your shit. I'm going to send out my vice pope. He's going to talk to you. J.D. Vance kept pushing, saying, I want to talk to the Pope. So the Pope saw him last Sunday on Easter. And not even 24 hours later, the Pope is dead. So J.D. Vance is a Pope killer. On top of that, in the same week, J.D. Vance went to go see the Prime Minister of India so they could discuss ways to get around tariffs or whatever bullshit he was trying to sell him. And again, not even 24 hours later, a militant group from Pakistan called the Kashmir Resistance attacked 26 Indian tourists, killed them, injured 17. And now, Pakistan and India are on the verge of going to war. Both countries have suspended visas for each other's citizens, and all of these things are because of J.D. Vance. If not Antichrist, why Antichrist shaped? That's my question.
It is the funniest video. I mean, guys, I love dark humor. Okay, it's the only way we get through this. But the video somebody posted of the meeting between J.D. Vance and the Pope, where J.D. Vance is like, my family and I, we pray for you every night for you to be healthy. And then the cut to the news breaking that the Pope had passed. If that doesn't sum it all up.
Or the
man said, we pray for you, and the Pope said, please don't. Please don't.
I would prefer
because I'm done after this. Absolutely done.
Imagine having so shitty of a presence that they're just like, I can no longer stay in this realm. It's time to go. Dad, can you pick me up?
Dad, come get me. I'm scared.
Enough. This is the Antichrist they were telling me about. I need to go. I'm not staying here for this.
No. Cannot stay here for this.
Yeah.
But we had to be the first topic.
Yeah, and Usha, you in danger.
Everyone's in danger. If you are planning, I hope you guys were never planning to see J.D. Vance, but if you run into him, run in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
immediately.
That's Final Destination in human form right there.
I mean, I need you to start sprinting away because this man is the Grim Reaper.
That's his side gig.
And then we also have Signalgate, the gate that keeps on gating. It's, like I said last week, the you can't get rid of me bitch, that is Signalgate. You cannot get rid of this thing if you tried. Each week, a new chat is leaked. And this week is probably one of the more crazier chats. I know you would think that the first chat, obviously, with the Atlantic reporter was crazy, but this one is just as crazy because this chat is with his wife, his brother, and his personal lawyer. Because that's the type of group chats you have. Who doesn't have a group chat with their wife, a family member, and their lawyer?
When you're bombing.
And you want to know what they talked about? I mean, the same things. The Houthi attacks. Of course. They had to know, okay? His wife, his brother, and his lawyer had to know about the Houthi attacks. Mm-hmm. Why? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. And let it be known, his brother does work at the Pentagon, but he works in no capacity that he needs to know about the Houthi attacks in a Signal group chat.
I'm pretty sure his job is podcaster. That's it.
There's no way you could spin that to make it make sense. And let it be known that cell phones are not allowed in the Pentagon. So Petey Boy was using the Signal app on a personal computer, connected to the internet, using an unsecure connection.
Shocking.
Known as a dirty line. So a dirty line is an internet connection with access to websites that are blocked by the Pentagon. So just every way you could fuck this up, Pete said, I got this.
Sounds like Starlink to me.
Yeah, it does. And it just caused turmoil in the Pentagon. Just imagine everything on fire, running around, screaming, everyone's running in opposite directions. That's what's going on with leadership at the Pentagon. Because after this, it just collapsed. His chief of staff resigned. They said, can't be involved in this anymore. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. We had multiple aides go either willingly or unwillingly because they just started fighting each other on the inside and power grabbing each other, of course. And now what's left is what they call a skeleton crew, which basically just means whoever is left is trying to do the work of everyone that was. AKA, they are not going to be able to because they don't have the people to do it. So that's not going to end well.
Nope.
And everyone knows that. And so there are some insider reports coming out saying that they're finding his replacement. The problem is that they asked Trump about this when he was going to the Pope's funeral. They said, are you going to be replacing Pete Hegseth because he's a hot mess? And Trump said, that is a stupid question. Why are you asking me that? There is no issue here. You guys are just making issues where there isn't an issue. That is quite literally what happened. And if you ask Pete what's going on at the Pentagon, he's saying, you know what's going to happen at the Pentagon? We're breaking ground. We're adding a makeup studio for me, for all of my appearances on TV. This is how delusional they are.
Yet he still only has one sideburn.
He has one sideburn and he needs a makeup studio. And to that I say, you wouldn't need to be on TV if you weren't fucking up. If you just kept your mouth shut and your little typey hands to yourself,
nope,
you wouldn't be all over the TV.
Just giving government
You wouldn't have to be
secrets.
on Fox News fighting for your life. You wouldn't need the makeup studio. But here we are.
Sad.
So I guess we'll update you next week when another chat is leaked.
Oh, but also, this popped up. So, German intelligence had arrested 2 suspected Russian spies who had Pete Hegseth's personal cell phone number in their phones. They were identified as German-Russian nationals, and they were accused of scouting targets for potential attacks, including U.S. military facilities in Germany. So, again, I mean, we all saw when, after the first episode of Signalgate, where we found out Pete Hegseth had a Russian email. And now that I think about it, this story mirrors when CIA operatives were getting picked off left and right when, Trump had the classified documents next to his toilet. Big coincidence. Old habits die hard, I guess.
So we shall see. That's probably the next group chat that's going to leak.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
We'll be back here next week talking about that.
We'll be talking about stupidity.
We shall see. But on the topic of stupidity, Devin, what cabinet member is acting stupid this week?
Cosplay Kristi Noem, who is the head of the Department of Homeland Security, but she cannot secure her own purse, allegedly. So, last Sunday, she was at a burger joint in D.C. called Capital Burger and alleges that a masked man had come up and stolen her purse. She didn't know. See, now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds silly because she didn't know that it was taken, but they know it was a masked man. Whatever. He had, in her purse, there was $3,000 in cash, her DHS access badge, her passport, credit cards, checks, keys, driver's license, and her medication. Mind you, since she is the head of Department of Homeland Security, she too has a Secret Service detail, and it was also reported that she had FBI with her, but somehow a singular masked man, super spy, was able to slip by all of this security and take her bag. Okay. And now, today, the DC U.S. Attorney, Ed Martin, conveniently is claiming that the suspect was here illegally. Oh, wow. It's not like you guys have an agenda against the Hispanic community right now, and it's all of a sudden a person who was here illegally. It seems real convenient that all of a sudden it's someone that's here illegally. But, I mean, if you're leaving your, however $1,000 designer bag out with all that stuff in it, I too would take it. So
absolutely, it'd be snatched up right away.
But we have learned that these bags are made for like $20 in China. So
that's what I'm saying. It's just this happening at the same time where China is calling out the fact that the designer bags are the same bags they make.
Come on, Kristi.
It just, and then everything happening with ICE, like I just feel like maybe
she'll cosplay as something again to change the narrative off of this. Maybe she'll be a fireman next. Who knows?
She should be in jail next.
Oh, man. A dream.
That's just my opinion.
A dream.
I think she should cosplay as an inmate in El Salvador.
Send her to CCOT immediately.
And she can, instead of cosplaying outside like she did last time, she can be inside.
And you're not allowed to talk.
Thought.
You're not allowed to talk in there, so that'd be great. That'd be great for this entire administration.
Yes. So we shall see what she ends up as next, but that would be my top.
Yeah. But we got better news that happened today, as opposed to this.
Better news. Cory Booker came off that 25-hour stand-in, and he decided, I'm not done yet, but you know what I'm done with? Standing. So I'm going to sit. And he did a sit-in at the Capitol. He sat on business. He stood on business, and now he's sitting on business. And today he did the sit-in, and this was because there is a vote tomorrow for a Republican-led budget cut that is obviously straight up robbing the working class. We're talking massive cuts to Medicaid, food assistance, education, housing, everything that we have been screaming from the rooftops about getting cut. Why, you ask? well, because more money needs to be shoveled into the pockets of their rich donors for their yachts, for their private jets. So therefore, no food assistance for you is what they are saying. And they are shielding it under a blanket of being fiscally responsible. And they don't even know what that means. Ask them. I want them to tell me what it means to be fiscally responsible.
In detail.
So Hakeem joined him, Devin. Hakeem Jeffries was there just to make you happy.
No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Not going to work for you?
No.
Because he didn't come up with it. He said, oh, Corey, you're doing something. Can I come?
Yeah.
So that it looks like I'm doing something. Because Hakeem, you could have done that. You could have done that months ago when they were trying to pass the resolution bill. You could have done the sit-in.
He needs to challenge Trump to trial by combat at this point to impress me.
Yeah, so they were there. Bernie Sanders said some words, obviously. There were constituents there, activists there. He was on live and gave the mic to a lot of amazing activists. So it was great to see. I can't wait to see the picture that comes out of that because there was just so many people there sitting on the steps and just amazing to see. Yeah. And we need to continue to do this. They said they needed 4 Republicans to change their vote.
Who has a spine?
So we shall see. But if not, it does not go unnoticed. The fact that he was able to do that, and also while doing that, bring awareness to a lot of local activists that are standing up.
Yep. Sharing
for what's
stories
right
of people that would be affected by these cuts.
Mm-hmm. So it was great to see. We are very proud of you, Cory Booker and Hakeem. Come on now.
Do better. Do your own thing. Do your own thing.
Stop just showing up at Corey's things. Just,
hey guys, can I come? No.
Can I come and sit here?
Do your own thing.
Absolutely not.
Get out of here.
And he went on live too. He got on the live. No, it just didn't work for him. But Corey, we love you.
I hate that guy. Anywho.
Who do we not love?
The human shoe, RFK, who got up in front of a mic this past week and just started making up shit about autism, saying that this is a disease that ruins families and autistic children are never going to grow up to play baseball or be able to go to the bathroom by themselves, and just spewing off a whole bunch of things that just weren't real. Mind you, there is a senator in PA, I think it's a state senator, that is on the spectrum, who came out and was like, what is this guy talking about? I am autistic. I don't know what this guy is saying. You have the autistic community around the country going, this guy doesn't make any sense. Why is this dude with a brain worm who was a heroin addict going to be the one that tells us about us? That it's just not real. This is eugenics. This is straight out of the fucking 1930s Nazi playbook. We told you guys this is what would happen. This is the same thing they did. They put the disabled and the people who were on the spectrum on lists, and they shipped them off. This is what happens. But also, that being said, he walked back. Oh, I didn't even get into the beginning. He said he was going to make a list of everyone who is autistic. That is the biggest HIPAA violation ever. That is lawsuits on top of lawsuits on top of lawsuits. So we got public outcry from that. They immediately walked it back, and that wouldn't work, because I think you would be very hard to find medical professionals who would be willing to give over the information of their patients over to these psychopaths, because they would also be liable and would be taken to court over this type of thing. And I don't think they're willing to risk that for the human shoe. It's just, no. Just no.
No,
Absolutely
nobody's
not.
willingly giving that information. The way they're saying it is, we're just going to be collecting data now. So it's anyone willing to hand over any information, yourself, your child, they're
Nobody
not
is.
going to do it.
No, nobody is.
You're just wasting time. You know what you could be doing right now? Everything else you were supposed to be doing. Everything else. You know, getting ready for the next coming flu season, getting flu shots ready. Now we're past that. There won't be flu shots.
Nope.
Handling all the measles cases. We're not downplaying that.
Eggs are still
Talking
pretty
about
high.
the bird flu. Anything, RFK Jr.? Nope. We're just going to scream into a microphone.
Well, I wouldn't call it screaming for me.
Yeah. But it is why pushback matters. We see a lot of people on TikTok being like, why do you guys keep talking? Nothing works. Yes, it does, guys.
Nope.
Our pushback works. This worked. Literally everyone and their mother got online and booed this man until he turned it around. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to boo everyone.
The second we say
Pushback
absolutely not,
matters.
they back down.
They are scared of us. You want to know who's super scared of us?
Uh-oh. Who else
Is
embarrassed
Elon.
himself?
Elon is scared. He is so scared of us. He is quitting politics.
Round of applause.
And he's whining. Whining because he has experienced attacks from what he calls the loony left.
Aww.
The bullying has gotten out of control.
Aww. Poor baby.
Here's my little tiny violin playing off in the distance for him. And Tesla profits are down 71% from last year. I love to see that.
We can do better.
We can do better. I want it down 100%. I don't want to see a single Tesla ever again.
Nah.
And so he's quitting so he can go back to his little Tesla and focus on that and get the profits back up. But what he will never, ever get through the skull is that we will never move on.
No.
We will never just say, oh, you're done in politics. Okay, everybody, go buy the Teslas now. No, we are never buying your Teslas ever again. We're never supporting anything that has your name on it.
Nope.
Ever again.
We hate you, dog.
So you can go wherever you want. Cry wherever you want. Cry over whatever news stations you want to get on and cry. We will hold a grudge this entire lifetime.
Uh-huh. It's a wrap.
You made your bed. You can lay in it. Because that is what I'd like to call, well, isn't that the consequences of my own actions?
Oh, man, I didn't know everyone would hate me after I outed myself as a Nazi.
Fine, I'll just I'll leave. Oh, will that make it better? No.
No, we're not done with you
No,
yet.
that's not what we meant by we want you to leave.
We want you...
When we said we wanted you to leave, we wanted you to leave.
Yeah, we want J.D. Vance to give you a big hug.
Yes. We want you to get on the rocket ship and take off with no return plan.
One-way trip.
One-way trip. So that's what we meant by leave.
Yeah. Yeah, figure it out.
So that's what's happening in Elon land.
But now we have the Big Ten, that is a conference of college schools. So that's like Rutgers, Michigan, Michigan State, Iowa, yada yada, what have you. They have learned from Columbia's mistake after bending the knee to Mango Mussolini, because after they did, they still got a whole lot of funding frozen. So what they've done is that they've made like a NATO of all of the colleges in their conference to provide each other legal support, because there is a blatant attack on higher education right now. They don't have 100% participation just yet, because rightfully so, there are some other schools that are scared of retribution or what would happen to them if they were to fight back. But they will be reconvening at a meeting in May, so in a couple weeks. So hopefully by then there will be 100% so they can lock that down. Also, shout out to Jersey. Rutgers was the one that kicked this off. So, listen, when in doubt, look at Jersey. Cory Booker, Rutgers. What was the post I saw one time? If you go against democracy, a Jersey person will yell at you for 25 hours straight. So, that's just how it goes. That's what democracy. Jersey's coming after you.
They are. And hopefully, I know they're saying they're scared. This is not obviously a time to be scared, especially when you have Harvard Law on your side. Mm-hmm. Guys, Harvard Law wouldn't get into anything as big as this if they didn't know they were going to win.
They have a conveyor belt.
Tell you that.
A conveyor belt of lawyers.
Need I remind you all that Harvard Law is located right in the heart of Boston, Massachusetts, where I was born and raised. And let me tell you something. Boston doesn't fucking play. They don't fucking play. Let that be known.
Revolution type shit.
Revolution type shit. I am so proud of where I was born and raised. I just continue to be proud. I am so proud.
Big Ten schools, just copy Harvard's homework, all right? They're going to court with him first. Just copy their homework.
Just absolutely bring the exact same documents and forms.
Yep. Just cross out Harvard and write the name of your school on there. Just change your name at the top.
Immediate wins.
Pass the answers.
Yep. So, we love to see it.
Yep.
What we don't love to see is ICE.
No. We hate them.
ICE. We've got some updates, guys. All right, we've got update on Mahmoud Khalil. Mahmoud Khalil, you all know, he was a pro-Palestine activist who was wrongfully arrested, detained, and they are trying to deport him for using his right to free speech. Point blank period. Well, when he was arrested, his wife at the time, 8 months pregnant, so since then she has given birth, and you would think they would have given him a temporary release to be there for the birth of his son. And if that's what you thought wrong, because they did not release him. They said that if they released him, that it would be bad because he could run. Run where?
Where to?
To see the birth of his son?
Apparently that's bad.
Apparently that's bad. So no, he was not released. And his wife had to give birth alone.
Crazy.
The party that is pro-life, pro-family.
Just evil. Pure evil.
Let that sink in. Absolutely disgusting behavior. And what's more disgusting is that this week it's come out that upwards of 8 children have been deported by ICE. One who is currently here in the U.S. seeking life-saving cancer treatment. Deported without any medication, without consulting with her acting physician, who is currently giving her the life-saving cancer treatment. There is abso-fucking-lutely no way you spin that.
Nope.
There is no way you spin that.
Party of family values, my ass.
Nope. We also have a toddler, a 2-year-old, U.S. citizen, deported. The story goes that the toddler, mother, and mother's sister were at a immigration check-in where all 3 of them were detained. You would think at that point they would investigate where the child's father is, get CPS involved. No, they decided they were going to be CPS, and they were going to do their own custody case without the father involved. And that meant the mom writing a little handwritten note to an ICE agent saying, I would like my child deported with me, and them saying, okay, and then deporting all of them. And when I mean deporting, I mean they put them on the plane, and the plane landed before the father even knew what happened. So when the father found out, obviously lost his goddamn mind, because that is his child who is a U.S. citizen born in New Orleans. So a lawyer got involved and a Trump-appointed judge got involved and said, no, what are you doing? That is a U.S. citizen. Doesn't matter if it's a 2-year-old. Due process applies to everyone. And the father is right fucking here. And why did you do that? And do not let that plane land. And they were like, no, that's too bad.
Did it again.
The plane landed. What are we gonna? We can't do anything now. The plane landed. And so he said, I will see you in court May 16th for you to answer to that. So there will be a special hearing on that. But that is far too long for a father to not know any status of his child.
I'd lose my shit.
And this is exactly what we said. It is going to turn into U.S. citizens. And they're doing it like this to start normalizing it.
Yep.
Might I add. They're not just going to all of a sudden take a white male U.S. citizen and deport them. You know?
Not yet.
So they do these things that you could kind of look at and try to twist in your mind. So they take someone who is a U.S. citizen but is a child, but then say, well, we deported the mom, so we deported them as a family. And then you try to rationalize that in your mind and say, okay, well, wouldn't the child want to be with their mom? So it makes sense. Guys, do not let that be normalized, because what's normal is due process. What's normal is CPS and custody battles. We see them every day here in the United States. That was an overnight custody battle in which one parent had absolutely no say because they didn't know what was happening. That cannot be normalized. U.S. citizens, no matter what age, no matter if their family is getting deported, that cannot be normalized. So this is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Exactly in the playbook, what they're trying to do is slowly normalize the behavior so it doesn't look as crazy when they do what they really want to do, which is just deport anyone who doesn't agree with their agenda.
All Tom Homan and Stephen Miller.
Mm-hmm. So just putting that out there, this is how they're going to try and normalize this very slowly. It's not even slow, but
No.
You know what I mean. Little by little, it'll get to where they want it to be. And at that point, it'll be too late. So we have to stay loud about this now. Mm-hmm. Also, I posted a breaking news story last night that a memo was leaked. This was a memo that was put out by Pam Bondi to ICE saying, you can now break into people's homes without a warrant. Because there are some cases where apparently we just won't be able to get a warrant in the amount of time that we need to detain and deport. So just go in the homes. And I'm telling you right now, that is not going to end well for anyone in ICE. Because if you bust into somebody's house in plain clothing on their property, and you don't think you're going to be met with the same force, if I was ICE, I'd be like, I don't want to go in there.
Y'all are going to
no,
find
thank
out
you.
Real quick.
You guys are going to fuck around and find out. So I posted it because I wanted to get the word out there, because obviously mainstream media isn't covering this. I don't know why they're not covering it. Sarcasm, if you could not get that. So I put it out there, and a lot of other people put it out there. It was very suppressed, obviously. Wonder why. But this is to let anyone know who is afraid that ICE might bust into their home that you need to take the time right now to go find the way you're comfortable protecting yourself and get it. Mm-hmm. And that could be anything. We can't say what those things are, but just whatever you feel the need to have on your person to protect you in your home.
Yeah.
From an intruder.
Hey, this is what the Second Amendment was written for. We're here.
Just saying.
They're going to find out.
So those were the ICE updates for this week. Absolutely disgusting behavior, as always, but really extra disgusting because children should not be touched.
No.
They just shouldn't. And we're already there. 100 days in.
100 days. feels like it's been 12 years. Well, speaking of people being shipped off, we got J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, who is stepping up. He is defunding investments in companies controlled by El Salvador and Illinois. He has directed various Illinois pension funds to review whether they are invested in any companies that are based in El Salvador, and that had ordered the Illinois Department of Central Management Services to evaluate whether any state procurement contracts have been granted to companies based in or controlled by El Salvador, like Bukele's baby, Bean of Fire Coffee. Apparently that's real close to his heart, because I think it's the only account he's following on whatever social media it is that he has. So, again, you need to be vigilant, pay attention, because he saw... I mean, it looks like he's copying our idea. He said, hey, you guys are doing the boycotts, bet, me too. The way to hurt these people is to hurt their pockets, so... you can bet your ass that once they start losing money in El Salvador from dealing with Trump, they're probably going to hit a quick U-turn and be like, yeah, I don't know if this is working for me. People are already starting to boycott Fruit of the Loom, which is based out of El Salvador. There's other products that they're boycotting. I believe a little bit of Starbucks, I'm not sure, but I'm going to have to double check that. But definitely his coffee, what was it again? Bean of Fire. So look at what you're buying, look at what you're drinking, pay attention. I think this whole thing has really opened our eyes into, what we should and shouldn't be purchasing.
Absolutely. And hopefully more states do this, because what I'd love to see is him crash out on X again.
Yeah, that's great.
It's better than reality TV to watch a so-called dictator crash the fuck out all over social media.
The coolest dictator you know. Freak.
But we've got the judges, federal judges, coming in and just doing what we've wanted. Oh my God, we didn't think it was going to be the judges, but it is. Senators, representatives, take note. This is how you stand on business. You say, oh, no, absolutely not. What I believe happened, I have to believe this in my heart, because it would make me so happy to know that they all have like a group chat or something.
Signal chat.
They have a group chat, and they said, we need to absolutely destroy Trump's week. We have to do everything in our power to just fuck this week up for him. And they showed out. Everything that came to the table, blocked. So let's go through them, because there was a lot, and it was like one after the other. So we started with a order from Trump that landed on a judge's desk that would pretty much strip union rights from federal workers. Absolutely not. Blocked. Not even a second thought.
Fuck out of here.
Then we've got another order coming in that would withhold federal funding from public schools that offer DEI programs. Fucking blocked.
Blocked.
Miss me with that shit. Next, we've got the big one. This was the one that everyone was terrified of, and rightfully so. This was a order that would require proof of citizenship when you register to vote, because Trump thinks that's his job, and a judge said, actually, that's not your job.
Disenfranchisement.
Absolutely not your job. That is actually, you want to know whose job that is? Congress. And I believe they can do their job, so you do not need to do their job. You have plenty of other things you can be doing. So no, blocked. Blocked. Next, we've got another order that landed on a judge's desk, which would freeze funding for sanctuary cities. That was fucking blocked. Because the judge said, that's absolutely unconstitutional. No.
Crazy.
No. Love them for that. And then finally, we've got another example of Kilmar Abrego Garcia happening in real time. We've got Christian, who's a 20-year-old Venezuelan. He was an asylum seeker here in the U.S. He was arrested, detained, deported to El Salvador, just like Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And he is protected here in the U.S. He has legal protections, a little bit different than Garcia. His protections were under a court settlement for being an unaccompanied minor who was seeking asylum. So he did have legal protections here, and he was deported. And a judge said, "Are we kidding? Are you absolutely insane? You need to get him back too." And then make another phone call. You have another person you need to bring home. Great. So these judges are not messing around. But what we've seen is what happened this week looked great, looked beautiful, just to see all the blocks one after the other. But Trump didn't like it. So what did he do? Him and his administration turned around and said, we need to now ruin these judges' lives. So whatever way we can do that, we're going to do it. And that led to arrests. Yes, they arrested a judge in broad daylight, right in front of our eyes. We have a judge, Judge Hannah Dugan of Wisconsin. In her courtroom, ICE busted in to her courtroom while in session saying, we need to arrest the person in front of you that is here having a case heard. And she said, this is my courtroom. Do you have a warrant? They said, no. She said, okay, fuck off. This is my courtroom, and if you want to arrest anyone, you can do that outside. Anywhere else, but not in here. This is my courtroom. And she let the lawyer and the man go out the side door. They left. He was arrested. You would think that's where the story ends. Nope. They came back and they arrested the judge. Put her in handcuffs. Want to know why? Because they believe that she got in the way of an arrest. In her goddamn courtroom, where she had every right to act the way she acted. She quite literally just told them, you're not doing this here. You can do this anywhere else. And then they did it, and they still arrested her.
Yeah.
And, of course, Kash Patel couldn't miss a photo op moment to snap a picture of her in cuffs outside and post that all over the internet, not knowing that that would completely fuck the trial, because you have just showed potential jurors a picture of the judge in handcuffs before trial. It's not going to end well for you.
Kash Patel is a lawyer. He knows better. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
They know better. This is the thing. They know better. They know the laws. They know things that would never happen in the past, would never be allowed to happen in the past, but they have gotten away with the biggest scheme in all of what we believe history, which is completely rigging an election and getting away with it scot-free. Mm-hmm. And now they believe they can do whatever they want. And it looks like they can on the surface. It does. For now. But yes, we know they're smart enough to know what they're doing is wrong. They don't care. Nope. They don't have any consequences for their actions. Therefore, they are acting however they want to act. And so we need to continue to stay loud. We need the judges to act. And this is my plea to SCOTUS. SCOTUS, I am once again asking you to do the fucking thing. Do it. Because if you don't think you're next, then you're dumb. There's no other way to put it. You are next. You are literally, there's a checklist and you are right next.
There. You blocked him. You ruled against him like 4 or 5 times. You think you're not on that list?
You think you're not on that list? Because if they can get away with arresting any judge, then they can arrest you. So now is your time to turn around and say, you know that immunity we gave you? Yeah, about that.
Nah.
Yeah, you fucked around and found out we don't want that immunity for you anymore. You're done. And by the way, so is everyone else.
And
You're all done.
Justice Roberts was the same one that said, hey, just because you don't agree with a judge doesn't mean you can go throwing a temper tantrum and doing whatever the hell you want. Well.
You should be front and center right now. Front and center on the front lines. Time to shine.
All right.
I need, out of any white man to get on the hot mic right now, we need you on a hot microphone.
It's time to go
saying
Hamilton.
Exactly what we want you to say. But we shall see.
Time to go Hamilton.
I'm just saying now's the time before you don't have the time.
Not throwing away my shot. Right?
No. No. Well, shall we go to traders in the chat? Because this week was a little rough.
This was fucking weird. So if you didn't know, so there is a tour called the Unfuck America Tour. And in theory, it sounds amazing. The whole premise of the tour was that a whole bunch of content creators from TikTok, debaters, left-leaning people were going to be following Charlie Kirk's, I forget the name of his tour, who cares, where he just goes around essentially debating college kids because he's incapable of having a conversation with a fully developed adult. So this tour was organized by Z Sanchez, but Z runs campaigns on TikTok, and she was doing the campaigns for Josh Wheel and Gabe Valamont in Florida. So we thought, she's here with us, she's fighting the good fight. No, turns out she's hella racist. So before this tour kicked off, or no, it was during, it was poorly organized, so she hopped in a live with a bunch of other creators that were black women. She was throwing out microaggressions. She was being super aggressive. She was belittling them. She was not listening to their concerns about how this tour was poorly organized and just... all
constructive feedback.
She got constructive criticism and couldn't handle
constructive criticism from a group of black female creators who are also on the same app that you are on, saying very constructive criticism. They were just saying, look, this wasn't organized. You had a lineup of creators, and this lineup was a lot of white. It was led by 2 white men.
Yep.
And
Dean and Parker.
And we're not seeing any diversity. We also don't think this was planned very well. You didn't seem to have a plan B in place.
Nope.
And you didn't even debate Charlie Kirk. So we have some concerns, and she could not take that. She came in so aggressive, and it was recorded and it was posted, and another content creator, Peyton, who was supposed to go on the Unfuck America tour, saw it and spoke out, used his platform to speak out against it. And in doing so, she was not happy about that. She sent her assistant to call him. And basically, the call was recorded and Peyton posted it. The assistant said, obviously you're not coming to this tour. And if you go anywhere near us on this tour, and we're on any sort of private property, we will have security remove you. And said, you're more than welcome to come because it's public property, but I highly advise against you showing up because it will make a lot of people uncomfortable. So no accountability there. And it took it getting out all over TikTok. A lot of creators thankfully used their platform to raise awareness on the situation. And everyone went into Dean, Parker, all the, creators that were there, went into their comments saying, are you going to address this? What's going on? And it wasn't until so many people were blasting them in the comments for them to bring it up. And they're currently on live all arguing with each other right now.
Yeah, the white boys are fighting right now.
They're fighting so hard currently. So we don't really have an update because we're recording right now and they're still screaming at each other on live, but we are saying this to say that sometimes it be your own,
or
it be the people that set up the tours that you think are going to be productive. It's the people you give your views, your likes, and your follows to. It's them sometimes. And there were red flags with this creator, multiple red flags that were missed. I missed them. Devin sent me the videos of some issues that happened last month with this creator that kind of went under the rug. And that was red flags. And unfortunately, these people make hundreds of thousands of dollars from views, likes, your eyeballs, giving them money. It's not your money, but it's your time and your views. So just be super cautious out there with who you are giving your energy and your eyeballs to, because not everyone is doing this for the right reasons. A lot of people are doing this for a paycheck. A lot of this are doing it for clout. A lot of them are doing it for a lot of reasons that aren't the main reason, which is to make a difference and to raise awareness. So just be careful out there. That's all we're saying.
Stay out of black people's business. And to listen to black women, okay? We already went through this in November, and we didn't listen to a black woman. And look where we are now. Come on.
Absolutely.
Let's be real, people.
Absolutely. Do not get into a live and do what she did. Yeah. Absolutely not. No. I think that's okay. In any sense that's okay. So that is traitor in the chat.
Oh, wait.
Anyone who isn't detesting this is a traitor.
We still got all of the corporate Dems, basically all of the older Dems, the old guard. So essentially, David Hogg, who is a Parkland shooter survivor, he is now the vice chair of the DNC. So his first initiative is we're going to start funding newer candidates, younger candidates, people who are just more in tune with what people are trying to have happen in this country. The older Dems don't like that. New DNC chair Ken Martin said, absolutely not. I love the status quo. We're not doing that. He said he's drafting proposed bylaw changes to require officers to remain neutral in Democratic primaries, which that doesn't make sense, because what David is trying to do is pretty much the opposite of picking a side. He is being neutral. He's trying to put a pool of money into a pool of people and create healthy competition so we can get the big money out of politics and the traitors in the chat out of the chat. So I'm not sure what Ken Martin's thinking there, but Hakeem Jeffries, I remember also, he is not in favor of this. So I know it's a big shocker. The older Dems don't like this, and I forgot about this one. So Alyssa Slotkin, or Alyssa Snakeskin, as I like to call her, she has smoke for AOC about the Fighting the Oligarchy tour. So she had said this past Thursday, she wants her Democratic colleagues to stop attacking the oligarchy and using the term oligarchy, and instead say, we don't bow to kings. Ma'am, an oligarchy is multiple people, and not just one. We're not going against a single person. It's a whole slew of traitors. So, again, another Democrat or another Republican in Democrat clothing. I didn't like her. I knew it, and I was right. I was fighting with people on Blue Sky about it. Oh, I live in Michigan. I voted for her. She was never a problem. Okay. Now look at that. Look at that.
Oh, no.
Look at that. So, Got these corporate Dems, Alyssa Slotkin, Z Sanchez, your traders, Caitlin Collins. You were taking pictures with Scott Jennings, all dressed up at whatever event you were at. Scott Jennings, if you don't know, he's the resident MAGA on CNN. He just spews information and things that don't make sense. And it tracks because Caitlin Collins started her career at the Daily Caller, which was a blog, political website that was under Tucker Carlson. So, Caitlin Collins, you used to be my fave on CNN. You gotta go. All right? No more
Also,
of that.
guys, you can just not take a picture with someone. No is a complete sentence. We don't need to take pictures with fascists.
No. You don't.
So I don't want to hear the oh, it was just a picture. I didn't really know what to say to him. No.
Why does everyone hate me?
No, thank you. I don't take pictures with fascists and keep it moving, but they don't.
Super easy.
It's so easy. So I don't want to hear that.
Nah.
I don't want to hear that in any chat.
Nah.
No. The final trader this week, this one hits. This one hits hard for the millennials.
Yeah.
It's John Stamos. Our little Full House Uncle Jesse. He was caught in 4K at Mar-a-Lago for a charity event, cozying up with the Trumpies. And Becca Day on TikTok posted a video calling it out. And John Stamos didn't like it. So he went into her DMs and asked her to take the video down because it makes him look bad. And to that we say, no.
Nah,
This
bro.
man is probably a billionaire, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. As I just said, why do we go to things with fascists? You don't have to. And even if he's arguing it's for charity, man, you have millions of dollars. Make your own charity event down the street. I know you can afford it.
Couldn't do something
Why would
like
you go to
this.
Mar-a-Lago? You could have put out a statement that says, I stand for this charity event, but I refuse to go to Mar-a-Lago because of obvious reasons. Therefore, I will hold my own charity event. And we would have been like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Go to his charity event. But you guys, you do these things and then you think because I did it in what I thought was a good way, like for charity, or I took this picture because I didn't know how to say no and I thought it was fine. When you do that stuff, it doesn't work on us.
No.
Because you could have done anything else.
Just stay at home.
Just stay at home. Make your own charity event. Say no to the picture. We are unforgiving over here.
Put a cup out on the street that says 4 dogs. You would have been better off.
It's just... Yeah, no. Sorry, John Stamos.
You gotta go,
You're done.
buddy. You're
Gotta
done.
go. But finally, we've got our final segment, which is... Yes, that really did happen. A poll that was sad last week, guys. I think you guys forgot about the poll.
Yeah.
I am once again asking for you to do the poll because it boosts my serotonin to see everyone involved. It's our way to have you guys involved.
Yeah, with us.
If you don't know where it is, you just go into the description of the podcast on Spotify and scroll, and it's right underneath the description. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just post your answer in the comments. And if you want to remain anonymous, you can also just DM us. I will never out you for your poll answer. Our DMs are open. But this week, only 3 people voted. So the Pope won. JD Vance, or the Pope refusing to see JD Vance, and I feel like it was because of what happened after. We didn't know when we recorded that the Pope was dead. So it won. This is for you, Pope.
Yeah.
Don't be near
RIP.
JD Vance.
Don't.
And leading the yes, that really did happen this week is yes, everything JD Vance did this week really happened. He killed the Pope. He started wars. He's breaking trophies. Everything he does is what's happening. So he gets his own spot. Just him. It's probably just going to be his name. JD Vance happened this week.
If you see JD Vance, Papa Yui, get out of there.
Get out of there. Next, we have Trump. He wants more babies, okay? So how is he going to do that? He's going to give women $5,000 to have babies. Now, I have a couple things to say about that. Number one is he was willing to give every member or every person that lives in Greenland $10,000. So if he cares more about Greenland than he does about the babies, because if he cared about the babies, he'd be paying your entire hospital bill for you to have that baby. That's like a 15% off ticket. It costs a lot of money to have a baby.
Yeah,
and
I got 3.
That's not. Yeah, and that's not the point. That's not the reason. I mean, it's a reason we're not having children right now, but I would say the reason I'm not bringing any children into this world as of right now is because I don't know what world this is.
Facts.
Money's definitely a factor, but $5,000 is not going to cure that for me. I'm going to need a whole new president. I'm going to need a whole new administration, and I'm going to need a lot of apologies before I even think about bringing a child into this world. And I know I'm not the only one, but he's offering $5,000. That's what he has to offer for you. And next we have Pete Hegseth, whose world is collapsing around him, and yet he only cares about a makeup studio. Only cares about a makeup studio. Yes, that really did happen. He really did scream into the void that he needs a makeup studio. Stat. And finally, ending it would be the fact that the dress code for this funeral is like any funeral. You should wear black, very dark colors, subdued, because this isn't about you. And Trump said, nothing's never not been about me. I'm wearing bright fucking blue. Royal blue, like the royalty I am.
Ugh.
And he did. And the aerial picture of the funeral, he just sticks out like a sore thumb, like a sore loser thumb.
Your boy kills
Because
the
God
Pope,
forbid
and then you do this.
Your homeboy kills the Pope, and you can't just like sit in black for once or in dark blue. They would have probably taken navy. No.
Nah.
You said, nah, that's not my style. So yes, he did wear bright blue to the Pope's funeral after his VP killed him. And that rounds out. Yes, that really did happen. So please vote for my serotonin boost. I take medication to give me serotonin, but it's not enough.
Same.
This poll really gives me some more, and I like seeing your answers. And this week, it's not a super tough one. I think I know it's probably going to win, but I think it's going to be between J.D. Vance and the $5,000 for the babies.
Definitely.
I think it's going to be between those two.
But it's definitely
I have to
JD
give it.
killing the Pope.
It's definitely JD killing the Pope.
Pope.
And just doing anything this week. He literally could not take any wins this week. And yeah, I think that will probably be the winner. But I do think the $5,000 to the babies is a very close second for me. Because who in their right mind is like, hell yeah, $5,000, I'll have a kid?
Yeah, nah. I wonder if they're calling him Pope Killer around DC. Pope Killer?
I think they should. I think that's the way we should refer to him, as like Grim Reaper, like
Yeah.
Pope Killer.
Yeah, Couch Humper's out of here.
so-
It's Pope Killer now.
We should just continue to boo his presence whenever we see him. All of those things. But yeah, that's the episode this week.
That was it.
That was it. All the crazy things that happened. But like I said, we're going to start venturing out a little bit. Obviously, the podcast we've been doing the past couple weeks has been mostly centered around breaking news because we cannot catch a break. But we want to start to venture out. Again, we're going to start having people on, if not on, putting snippets of audio from interviews on the podcast and on TikTok from people who are running for office.
Yep.
But also, people who are starting their own campaigns, people who are organizing protests, members of 4 a.m. Club. We want to start venturing out and doing that. And we do have people that have reached out and would like to be on, and we love that. So, best way to continue that is for you to listen to the podcast.
Please.
For you to like, follow, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your family. Just get the word out there. We're here on Spotify. We're on YouTube for those who don't have Spotify. And the support means everything to us because it allows us to continue doing this. And I know because of everything you've seen this week that you're like scared. We do not make any money doing this.
No.
We don't.
No.
We can't really say that. We made 16 cents on live.
Hey.
We made 16 cents by going on somebody else's live who has a lot more followers than us.
Part of the billionaire club.
But we're not making any money outside of that, probably 16 cents. To say anything or do anything for anyone.
Yeah.
That's not how we roll here. Absolutely not. We are just trying to spread the truth, raise awareness, be on the right side of history.
Yep.
So if that's something you love, continue to support us. That would be awesome. We are active daily on TikTok. And I mean, multiple times a day on TikTok. And we're on Blue Sky. If you don't have a TikTok, we post the videos on Blue Sky, so follow us there. We do have an Instagram. We're not super active on it because suppression. And then we're here every Monday still. So thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next Monday for episode 5.
See you next week.
Bye.